Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Jake and Cameron. Today we're going to be doing a new car review. This is a brand new 2022 Toyota RAV4 XLE Hybrid model. Cameron's brother Riley just picked this thing up. It has less than 250 miles on it. I got it only a couple days ago, so it looks really good. It's in this red, beautiful red metallic paint. Show them this shine. It looks pretty good. There's also a flat red. It's not flat red, but it just doesn't have as much metallic spec. So this new Highlander generation, or not Highlander, my bad, RAV4 generation, has these sharp headlights, these LED headlights. I think this new generation of RAV4 looks really good. This one doesn't have fog lights because it's not an XSC, and then I believe the SE, I think, and then the TRDs have fogs. I'm not entirely sure, Cameron told me that. But this one has like blacked out plastic trim and grille and bumper. He just picked it up from McCord's Toyota. That's where Cameron works. So yeah, this is the hybrid model. You guys can see on the blue, all the Toyotas that have like the blue underglow or whatever it is behind the badge. It's always hybrid. So we'll do an exterior walk around over here. This one has 5-spoke alloy rims because it's the XLE. Decent like mid-level trim, I would say. I think they look good. It's kind of like this silvery like gunmetal, I would say. Powder like coat. So yeah, discs in the front, discs in the rear. 225 all the way around. It's a square setup for tires, so you get the alloy 5 spokes around back. Or you can also see it's got it's a RAV4, so all of them are all-wheel drive. You can see the all-wheel drive bed there, but it has the plastic body cladding. And then this one he optioned the roof rack, or I think all of them do come with roof racks. Not all of them, maybe, but as you guys see, I'm talking about the blacked out. This one's got a blacked out Toyota badge, RAV4 badge, it's blacked out, and then your trim badges here are blacked out. I think it's a pretty good look. It kind of ties in with this black accent. I think this is black on every single one, no matter if you get like chrome or not. And then the headlights are kind of dark, so it's got this like kind of dark rear end. It's got dual pipes, real tips, guys. Actually kind of funny. All the RAV4s have real pipes, like 2. But yeah, as you guys can see, it looks pretty good. I think it's a great looking car. I think the wheel size kind of matches the body. It's not like disproportionate or anything. It's got these big mirrors. You can tell from the outside that the mirrors are big. I think it's the only thing that's kind of disproportionate. So overall, I think the car looks really good. Like I said, it is literally a brand new car. We'll get to driving it next, and then we're going to show you guys the interior. Okay, we're going to take the hybrid RAV4 out on the drive here. Cameron's going to punch it here. Show you guys
cars to go by first.
A little quick acceleration. And go. Takes off pretty good. That's about 60 miles an hour. That's pretty good. Pretty quiet in here. Road insulation, like noise insulation, is pretty decent. Little like tire noise, really. Yeah, not bad wind noise at all. But pretty smooth riding. How's the steering and handling, Cameron?
Steering's pretty good. It's electric power steering, so it's kind of nice and light and pretty even. You're not gonna have any major like lumps in the steering, if that makes sense. I would say it's one of the better power steerings. I've driven a lot of cars. I like this probably better than the Highlander that we did another video on, but not as much as like my truck, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah. It's not super over boosted, but it's kind of standard power steering.
You still have road feel, like it's kind of an artificial road feel, but it is nice and light. For the visibility on the vehicle,
it's very good, I would
amazing
say.
Visibility, nice wide, big, huge, tall windscreen,
big mirrors,
large mirrors, large rear view mirror, and then we have like basically all like just
it's a great
large windows out.
Yeah,
it's pretty much a greenhouse.
And then the hood, as you guys can see the hood out. So if you guys struggle with like parking and stuff, this is a good vehicle, I would say, because you can kind of see where the front of the car is.
This has sensors all around the vehicle and a backup cam. So when you approach something, it'll beep and it'll show kind of like a
like
bars.
proximity.
We'll show that a little later. We'll kind of get some close to some, and I'll show you what that looks and sounds like. I would say it is a hybrid, so it accelerates a little bit. It's a little bit more peppier from that electric motor.
It's a little more torque.
and you're getting way better gas mileage.
Yeah, so let's talk about like eco mode versus like sport mode, because I drove the CT200H in eco mode, and that was like driving like with a rubber band attached to the gas pedal. Like, what is it like in eco mode versus sport mode, like acceleration wise? Like,
it's probably pretty similar. Let me put it in eco mode real quick. Or it has.
So we'll put it in EV mode.
It has
EV mode.
Eco, Sport, Trail, and EV mode. EV mode, I'm pretty sure is literally like probably
Battery only. So pop it into eco mode. I think it was maybe already in eco mode.
Yeah, it's in eco mode right now. So yeah, it's doing all right. That entire acceleration was in eco mode. So on the way back, I'll switch it over to sport and see how it does.
And basically, sport mode, I believe, is basically where the engine is just always like eco mode. If the engine doesn't have to be on, it'll like charge the battery or whatever, and like
yeah,
not
like
prioritize
as soon
performance.
And it's like also like trying to take as much regenerative braking as possible.
Yeah, whereas sport mode is just like, okay, all power all the time. So you don't get like more physical horsepower, but
you get more response.
yeah, it's basically just more responsive. So when you get on the freeway, I would say that's like a good idea to pop it in sport mode. You can pass and
get up to speed and then maybe switch back to eco.
Yeah, once you're on the freeway. So yeah, it's actually handling pretty well. It doesn't have any, you know, obviously it's a brand new car. The suspension is brand new, but not horrible body roll. You know, it's a little bit, but
I would say pretty tall SUV, like mid-size SUV.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of boxy.
It's on McPherson struts.
What do the brakes feel like? Good, like, yep, a little bit of brake dive just because it's kind of a SUV body. So
and with the EV, it's all like it also has some regenerative braking in there as well. So even if you're going down like maybe a super steep hill and you're worried about your brakes, maybe you have your brakes are worn down for some reason, you should be okay because the regenerative braking is pretty hard.
Yeah, so basically, like, you'll notice maybe when you coast that you'll kind of slow down a little quicker because it's regenerative. So we'll show you guys on the way back in just a second. Okay, guys, we're gonna take off in sport mode. It's in sport mode right now.
I'm gonna get out to the regular road so I don't kick up any gravel, and then I'll kind of take off. There's no one behind me, so I'll just come to a stop real quick.
So we're in sport mode, it says. Yeah, it feels basically the exact same, to be honest.
It's pretty much the same. I think it's just kind of like it's not as much as a gas saver, and it doesn't have as much like regenerative braking, so you have like more control, I guess.
Yeah, it's just a tiny bit more responsive. So yeah, overall the car drives great. I will say, like, kind of suspension isn't like insanely soft where it just soaks everything up. Like, you're gonna feel the road. It's not like a Rolls Royce in here or anything. I mean, you shouldn't expect that, but it's definitely a comfortable car to sit in. But the seats, I would say, for a long road trip, I could definitely see myself kind of getting.
They're nice and bolstered a little bit. They're pretty firm.
Yeah, they're kind of bolstered, like more like a sporty vehicle than like a normal car like this, I would expect. So it kind of is like more of a sporty seat than a comfort seat for what I was expecting. But definitely still comfortable. But yeah, if you're like doing like 300 miles stint or something, yeah, you're gonna need to take out and like take a break, stand up or something, because I could tell that my butt would be sore after a while. And then as far as legroom, 6'3" in here. The seat is all the way back. My feet are on the angled part of the floorboard, so actually the legroom is kind of disappointing, to be honest, for a brand new car. Like,
the legroom is much better in something like a Highlander.
The Highlander is much better.
Or something long like a Camry. Or
yeah, even even in a Camry, I have better legroom. So,
but it's like just like the car is deceptively short, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like a boxy. I mean, it is the smallest like SUV, not the smallest, but it is like a kind of a Jeep Wrangler like size, like shorter, like off-roader. Like, I mean, that was the original RAV4. So, yeah, overall the car drives great, and we'll show you guys the interior next. Okay, guys, we're gonna show the interior next. Cameron's already in here. It's a pretty nice interior. Everything, I would say, build quality wise, I'm just going to talk about real quick. It's pretty solid. My dad has a newer Subaru. I think it's a 2021 Outback. I would say that's kind of a comparable car, you know. Got a mid-size. It's not really an SUV. It's like a wagon, but basically the same size and everything. But I would say build quality between the Subaru and the Toyota are pretty similar. Like, things like the body panel are kind of like cheap, and it just like kind of has plastic and yeah, whatever. But other things really nice. This is the center console, really nice, comfortable. Armrest where your elbow sits here, really comfortable. I think all the touch points are pretty good and comfortable. Higher trim models, I believe, get a leather wheel. This is kind of like just a rubber molded wheel, and it you might think that feels cheap at first, but actually it feels pretty good. I think I like the wheel. It's not super thick. It feels very good. I like this wheel a lot. Talking about the interior, the key's in here, right? So I can turn it on. So it's on now. So showing the gauge clusters here, you actually don't have a tachometer, and that's because it's like the hybrid. So you have like this charging, eco, and then power. So when the needle's on like eco and stuff, that basically means that the charge, like you're being more efficient than usual, and like the battery's charging or whatever, because this is the hybrid. And power is like the engine is like working and you're in power mode, and then charging I think is just like when you're on the brakes, and that's only regenerative braking. So yeah, you get your speedo over here. Also have your fuel gauge down there, and then you have a little screen like LCD display in the middle. I don't think you can kind of like switch through it. How do I switch through it again? This guy? Yep. So right here, if you go like this, oh, it's not, oh, my bad.
So you can go side to side and up and down.
So you can see fuel economy, say eco zone, all this like eco stuff. Pretty cool. You can switch. So this is like cruise controls right here. This is tire pressure monitor. That's pretty nice. And you also have like settings, so you can go through and adjust all your driver aids. And then this is like if you have a warning light, this would pop up. So yeah, as you can see, 251 miles, literally very new car. Yeah, pretty good gauge display. Very similar text to all the Toyotas I've ever been in. The steering wheel has plenty of buttons on here. You can like switch your, audio and switch the tracks and stuff. You've got volume. You've also got voice control. So this has wired Android Auto and wired Apple CarPlay, not wireless. We can't show you that right now because we don't have Apple Cord. We don't have a lightning cable. Riley uses Android, so he just hooks up his USB-C there, and it works great. You can say like you use this thing if you got Android Auto, be like, hey Google or whatever, and then it also works with, I'm sure it works with Apple CarPlay, but yeah. So on the display, I don't know how big this display is, but it's a decent size. I can tell it's not like huge. Like I know other new cars have like huge displays and stuff, like freaking iPads. But this has all these nice analog buttons on it instead of just being a touchscreen. I like that a lot. You got your volume knob, you got your tuning knob. It's really easy to use. Kim, you want to hold that real quick? And then another big thing in here is all the stocks are kind of normal. You got your wiper stuff on this side and your lights dealing over here. And then you have electric mirrors over here, like pretty standard stuff. All electric power window, of course, like electric watts. This is like a $30,000 car. But the big thing I like is that the HVAC is all still hard button. So 2022, a lot of cars are like switching like HVACs in the infotainment, and I'm not a big fan of that personally. You can still control all the vents, everything by manually. I will say these kind of feel like super cheap. Like really flimsy. Mostly these ones on the side, like I don't know, it just feels really cheap, to be honest. Like my old 2004 Volvo feels better than that. But this is really great. I love the big knobs. This is really great system. They feel good. The buttons feel solid or whatever, and everything down here. This is all your HVAC controls. Then you also have some more like warning lights down here. This is your traction off button. I'm assuming this is also something to do with like a higher trim model. It has something here that's just a blank. You have a cigarette lighter down here, 12 volt DC port, and then you also have a USB port down here. Surprised there's not two, actually, because a lot of cars have like two nowadays. But the big thing is you can get these with wireless charging. This one just doesn't have it, sadly, but this is where like the wireless charging pad would be, so you'd have a nice big wireless charging pad. But obviously you can just plug this in if you don't have wireless charging. So standard shifter, you don't have like a freaking knob like a Dodge or a Ford or whatever. Nowadays everybody has a knob for. You have electronic parking brake, and then you've got your drive modes here. So there's EV mode, which basically only allows you, I believe, to go like 25 miles an hour, and it uses battery only. So if you're like driving around really slowly or something somewhere, I don't know where you'd only be going 25 miles an hour for a long time, but yeah, you can use that. EV mode, battery only. Then you got eco mode, so you go like, you can like switch it like that, and then that to sport, and then to eco, and then you push it to go to normal. And basically eco mode is going to optimize gas mileage, and then sport is going to have the engine always on, and then it's just more responsive. The horsepower is the same in both, actually, when you go full throttle, and then normal is like just kind of in between. And then trail mode, I'm not entirely sure. We've never like tried to take this off road or anything. I'm assuming this just kind of gears it down to give you a little bit more torque, just in case, you know, you run into like a hill or something. Yeah, so I'm actually a big fan of the interior overall, though. Everything's kind of dark and, you know, mostly plastic and rubbery kind of vinyl textures and everything. Like I said, this is kind of a mid-trim one. It's not an XSE, like that's the best one. The Door handle feels really solid. I like that. Up here, you've got mirrors on both sides. And then booyah, let's do the visor test. I don't know if you can see that, but you got an extender. That's really nice. I like that. And this is nice crispy lights up here. Standard sunglasses holder. Feels good. Good rear view mirror. This does have a backup cam. Put it in reverse real quick. You guys can see the backup cam. Pretty good backup cam, I would say. Not like the most impressive I've ever seen, but pretty good. And we also talked about how it has parking sensors. Cameron will show you that in a little bit. And then we'll show the center console real quick. There's a bunch of stuff in there, but boom, you got 2 USB ports in the center console, so that's nice. So you can, you know, charge like a battery pack or another device in here. Then you've got 2 super big cup holders. You guys can see this is Riley's water bottle. Goes way down in there. Pretty good water bottle. This is a normal can, and it's like way down in there. So I really do like these big cup holders. Nice. And you got a little storage shelf in here, pretty deep. You actually just like fit stuff. Got a normal glove box. Standard size in here, you have in both doors you have cup holders down low. So overall, I would say a really good interior. Like usability wise, feels pretty solid. I like the screen and everything, and we'll get to the back seat. Oh yeah, I'll mention the seats real quick. We talked about them when we were driving, but I would say they're definitely, I would say they're all right. Comfortable for a short while. Like he said, they actually have a little bit of a bolster. I like this kind of cloth pattern or whatever. It's like with the, I don't know what pattern that is, starburst or something, but I like it's just not a normal, just like black cloth. So yeah, and then the higher models you can get like leather seats. So we'll get to the back seat next. Okay guys, now we're in the back seat of this 2022 RAV4. So interestingly enough, for the hybrids, the battery is actually located under the seat. So you can see this big plastic panel. I don't know if you can see it very well. This hides all the battery hybrid stuff. So the gas models, I don't believe, have that under there. I also want to mention that we didn't mention this, but the driver's seat is powered, so it's electronically powered, and the passenger seat is not actually. But funny enough, the passenger seat is the only one with a rear pocket to like stuff, whereas this one has nothing, no pocket. Kind of surprising, but it's got cup holders in both doors. It's got that one over there, and then it's got speakers down there. Kind of standard spot for speakers. It's got 2 USB-C ports down here, so actually a lot of charging, just only 1 regular USB port in the front, and then the 2 USB in the center console as well. Those are USB-C. And then this one has all-weather floor mats, pretty nice floor mats. We didn't show them in the front, but there's floor mats. They're like laser-fitted, like weather textile, like custom fit to the car. And then you've got a standard cup holder armrest style thing. Back seat, I will say, kind of feels a little even more uncomfortable. This center seat feels actually softer than this seat. Pretty thin padding. Literally feels like not much thicker than like a camping pad. Headrest feels very kind of normal, pretty minimal to interior, but I will say back seat room is better than I expected, especially after I sat in the front and I wasn't very impressed. But you could probably fit adults back here like all right. I wouldn't say it's like a freaking limousine back here, but definitely more space. Not much going on. Very basic back seat, to be honest. And then we'll get to the back, the storage area, next. Okay guys, now we're on back, and I'm going to show you guys this rear side. So it's not an electronic lift gate. You actually have to like pull up like a old-fashioned car. A lot of cars nowadays, you like click the button and it goes like
the higher trim models like that.
My dad's Subaru Outback actually has that, and I think it's like a super base model. But yeah, you got a cargo cover back here, pretty nice, really nice. This is, I believe, comes with the all-weather floor mat package thing, like a big RAV4 mat. Pretty cool. I like this. It's got these nice D-ring tie downs, so if you got some valuable cargo back here that you don't want sliding around, breaking stuff, it's got the cargo pocket over here you just showed. It's got another,
and behind that cargo pocket is actually where the 12-volt accessory batteries is.
So yeah, like the normal car battery, not the hybrid battery, is back there. And then there's another DC port. So I like how well equipped this rear end is, like the cargo space. And I will say it is quite big. I'll get in the back here. I'll show you guys. Absolutely no problem fitting here. 6'3", 200 pounds. 10% body fat. No. Yeah, it's actually a really great cargo space. I will say I like the cargo space a lot. It's very tall. That's what you get when you get a good hatchback. The liftgate doesn't have a button or anything. Electronic liftgate close with these plastic handles on both sides. Overall, pretty good. Oh yeah, and then Cameron would like to show the seats fold down as well. You guys can see.
It's like a 70-30 split.
Yeah, pretty traditional, but pretty cool that the floor mats, like, you got rubber on the back of the seat. That's actually the only thing I've ever seen yet. So I would say this all-weather mat option thing is a pretty sick option, actually. So if you got like a dog, or you like to throw, you know, you could easily slide a mountain bike in here, you know, if you don't have a bike rack.
Yeah, because also this divider, actually, this comes out and you can actually put it underneath this rear pad.
Yeah, so this is plenty big enough. You can put some muddy junk back here. So I would definitely say I'm a big fan of the cargo space on this thing. So yeah, really usable vehicle. And then we didn't mention this earlier, but we should have mentioned it up there, but the sound system on this thing is actually pretty good for, it's a base sound system. I don't know what the upgrade one is, but I'm sure there's like an upgraded Bose one on the XLE, or not the XLE, XSE, and it actually sounded pretty good. So if you're worried about your sound system on your RAV4, I would say don't go for the upgrade if you don't have to, you know. So we'll talk about the specs and we'll look under the hood next, and then we'll finish it up. Okay guys, we're gonna take a look under the hood here. Let me look up for it. There we go. Does this have hood struts? No. So we got our normal little hood prop. As you guys can see, it's kind of a mess. If you are over the age of 25, you probably don't even know what any of this is. No, okay, that was a joke. No, I don't even know what is going on here. I know this is part of the hybrid system. You got these big orange wires.
Yeah,
everywhere.
these are safety cone orange because it's running about 650 volts, and if you take this off and touch it, you will die.
Yeah, and it's not really the voltage, it's actually the amperage that's going to get you, by the way. But yeah, it's a pretty traditional, like, you got your dipstick here, you got your engine oil filler. This is your coolant here. It's got cool pink coolant, if you like that.
So you have your inverter coolant, and then you have your traditional coolant.
So yeah, this is for the battery pack, like cooling down the like motor and the regen system and everything.
Yeah, it's for the it's in for the inverter right over here.
Yeah, and then this is just your standard engine coolant. You got a tiny little fuse box. I'm really surprised at how tiny this is. Oh, there's another one over there. There it is. Okay, and then you got your brake fluid, I believe, up there, and then your airbox. It's a pretty traditional engine bay. Hopefully you're not going to be working on this thing because it's a brand new car and you hopefully have a warranty. But if you ever do, this is a pretty basic. Oh wow, really surprised. 0W-16 oil. Very interesting oil. Never seen that before, but yeah.
Pretty much all the new Toyotas are actually going to switch to the 016.
And then how much horsepower does this have? I don't know. Not entirely sure.
We'll get back to you.
Yeah,
it's quite a bit. I mean, I know I think it's, oh man, you want to look it up real quick?
Okay, yeah, we'll get back to you with the specs in a second. Okay guys, and as for the specs, Cameron just looked up. It's 219 horsepower from the Toyota Synergy system. It's a 2.5 liter natural aspirated 4-cylinder, by the way. There's no turbo on this thing. And then the advertised is 41 highway and then like 38 city, or 41 city, 38 highway. But Cameron, we were driving around and we got about 40 combined, and that's what Riley's been getting. So expect about 40 combined if you're, you know, not doing anything crazy. So I would say very impressive gas mileage. I mean, that's why you buy the hybrid. So overall, I would think this is a great car for someone that's got a pretty decent commute like Riley. He has to drive like 70 miles each way every time he goes to work. So thank you guys for checking out the video. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this review, and leave any questions you have about the car or about whatever you guys want to see in the future. We have other Toyota videos on the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.